Hi everyone, welcome to another SEGI School session brought to you by SEGI Group of Colleges. My name is Afni and I am the moderator for today's session. And welcome to this live webinar entitled The Role of Media in a Global Pandemic, How the Media is Changing the Way You Think. This live webinar is actually brought to you by SEGI Group of Colleges. All right, now I'm gonna do a quick tech check. So can everyone hear and see me clearly? So if yes, please, if you can, please type yes. All right, thank you. All right, so I hope everyone is ready. So for those who actually have just joined in, I would like to again welcome you to this live webinar. This webinar again entitled The Role of Media in a Global Pandemic, How the Media is Changing the Way You Think. My name is Safni and I will be your host for today. A quick briefing to everyone before we start. Our session today should take approximately 60 minutes. And during the whole session, we encourage you to type your questions in the comment section below, and our speaker will try to answer your questions during the Q&A session. For your information, this webinar is actually recorded and will be used by SEGI University and colleges as well as its subsidiaries in the future. Before we proceed, I would like for everyone to type in the comment sections and actually share with us where are you connecting from. As I understand, there are registrations from all over Malaysia as well as other countries. All right, so is everyone ready for the webinar? If you are ready, press 1. Okay, before we start with our webinar, I would like to introduce you to our speaker. And again, I would like to mention that our topic for today is the role of media in a global pandemic, how the media is changing the way you think. And our first speaker is Dr. Wan Norshira binti Wan Muhammad Ghazali. Dr. Wan Norshira is actually an assistant professor from International Islamic University, Malaysia, IIUM. She is from the Communication Department and she was conferred a PhD by Nottingham Trent University, UK in 2017. Her field of interest includes media and journalism, health journalism, political economy of media, power, ideology, culture, and media studies. Before joining the academic world, she was exposed to the real practices of media in Malaysia through her attachment in the corporate communication of TV9. In 2018, she actually continued with Bernama to gain more exposure in her field of interest. And our second speaker for today is Natasha Shamarisson. She is an actress, TV host, and radio presenter. Natasha Shamarisson is actually our local talent from Sarawak. She is an actress, TV host, radio presenter, and the current face for Asia TV commercials from the year 2011 up until now. And as a TV host, she had experiences hosting several programs and live events such as Gadis dan Gua, Konsert Kemuncak Bintang Kecil, and Selamat Pagi Malaysia. And her acting career is concentrated on drama series and telemovies. And currently, she is working on her new film called Sumpah Terlarang and a new drama series called Pelangi Hati. Okay, without further ado, let's move forward with our first speaker. Let's welcome Dr. Wan Norshira. So over to you, Dr. Wan.
Hi, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. Alhamdulillah, I would like to wish Selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri to all Muslims who celebrate Hari Raya. And as for today's task, I will be talking about the role of media in a global pandemic. And before that, the question to ask, what roles do media play in getting society informed during an emergency period? By informing here means informed with correct information, because we are aware that with the COVID-19 issue, we also have another issue which is called infodemic. Right. So before going further, I would like to share a bit of information that COVID-19 has been declared as a pandemic in March 12, 2020. And it, of course, it is because it shares similar traits with severe acute respiratory syndrome or SARS, and both viruses actually pose a global threat, and therefore several measures have been taken in order to halt the spread of COVID-19, right? Okay, so basically, mass media is recognized as powerful forces to shape how we experience the world. Media plays important roles to get the public updated with information related to COVID-19 and to inform the public during these uncertain times. Newsrooms across the country have made the pandemic coverage a priority, and much of this coverage is focused on the reality of the crisis, such as what is happening, what can be expected, what are the new guidelines issued by local and national governments and whatnot. And from this situation, I could see that the public's trust in the media is on the line, and this could refute the claim that the mainstream media is dying. And we could say that the mainstream media is very much important in our life, right? Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So before discussing the main topic, let me summarize the 4 functions of mass communication that are still relevant in our today's modern technologies and society. The first one is surveillance function of the environment, whereby the mass communication actually exists to observe and keeps citizens informed of news and events, especially in terms of crises, announcements of warnings, instructions, such as certain hurricanes, tsunamis, or COVID-19. At this current situation, the media is also seen as the key communication tools to relay information about schools and business closures, about so many other important issues or information. And media also is used as a tool for the government authorities to protect citizens with important updates. And we can see that in terms of surveillance, there are 2 types: warning surveillance as well as instrumental surveillance, whereby warning from time to time came from the media, whereby telling us do not spread fake news, or else these are the legal consequences that you will face, and also certain announcement on adhering certain regulations, especially during MCO and CMCO. And in terms of instrumental surveillance, the media also have updated us, the public, with latest information. For example, downloading MySejahtera. If you are not sure, do not share. Sebenarnya.com. Anyone knows about this? Any of you have the idea any of you have the idea of what MySejahtera is? Right? Okay. So what is MySejahtera? MySejahtera is actually an application that was developed by the government in order to combat the COVID-19 or the spread of COVID-19. And what about sebenarnya.com? Sebenarnya.com is a platform for you to get the right information, to get to verify certain misinformation, right? So that is the first function of mass communication. The second one is correlation function. Traditional news outlets was once the only mediator of what was selected as newsworthy, right? But it's no longer the case. When social media and digital media come to the scene and play a much similar role, whereby users can be fed with stories that looks like real news, but in fact they are not real news. So I believe that media, these have posed certain challenges on the media because they have to become a platform to verify misinformation, right? And the third one is cultural transmission, whereby this function allows media to reflect and influence societal norms. The media serve as transmitters of cultural messages, letting the masses understand what are considered as acceptable forms of behavior. And of course, cultural transmissions evolves, right? What was once taboo can become new norm. When enough people embrace the norm and the media, and when the media report on it. So basically, the media has the ability to reflect the culture of the times while also setting up and condoning new norms. Can you please name a few of new norms that we in the midst of COVID-19? Right? Any of you would like to share what are the new norms? Okay, so basically new norms such as how to celebrate Hari Raya, how to offer a handshake or how to say no to handshake. So these are the new norms that we have to get used to it, right? And the next function of mass communication is for education and entertainment, whereby media also serves as cultural transmitters that educates and entertains. The mass media or mass communication enable viewers and listeners to see, hear, and learn in a real time from wherever they are, right? For example, the social media and the digital media platforms have taken the entertainment and education functions even further. You no longer can need to need to rely on radio broadcasters if you want entertainment. Like social media can do that for you, right? And in terms of education, children have been educated on using the media on how to on why they are supposed to stay at home through the public service announcement that we can see being played on the television from time to time, right? Okay. So that's basically, I could suggest that in many ways, the four functions of mass communication are still relevant and transferable to contemporary media. Okay. The next one is, I would like to emphasize a bit on previous research results on media coverage on endemic and pandemic. In the media, attention to health news has been increasing in importance during the last few decades. The media reports on an epidemic or pandemic can provide important information to the public that can affect disease transmission. And in the process of disease control and prevention, Laswell's instructive surveillance function of the media is seen vital. That is by defining health issues and communicating healthy measures in order to incite changes in behavior and also to induce positive, healthy behavior practices such as hand washing, how to properly wash your hands, how to practice social distancing. So these are among the behavior practices that we want in individuals of the society to practice in order to reduce the probability of contracting the disease. Okay, of course, researchers contended that in order to maximize this effect, media reports should focus on changing people's behavior during a pandemic or epidemic. This is evident in one study that effective and well thought out surveillance campaign will help to control and prevent diseases such as Ebola. And this could be done by heightening health education, health promotion, and health literacy, right? And from my observation, that is what our media is doing. That is to make sure that the public can observe the new norm. So I suppose that you are familiar by now. What are the new norms, right? For example, hand washing, social distancing. You cannot go back balik raya. You have to stay at home. If you go back to your village, you are not supposed to to be in a close contact with your parents. So basically, this is the new norms, right? However, previous studies have also shown that if the population is not properly informed about protective measures regarding some diseases, it can have serious repercussions on the actions of different populations. That is why media surveillance that is why we can see that media surveillance can also create unnecessary anxiety or panic. And panic, for example, can be translated in the form of avoiding certain group of people, mocking or having a stigma over some clusters of COVID-19. Like in March, I think people started to say backwards towards public clusters, right? Because of people started to get panicked. So, of course, it needs to be controlled, right? So, I believe that information on disease control and prevention must be strategically designed and not left at the mercy of the citizen journalism or user-generated contents that are available on social media and other platforms other than the mainstream media. Okay. All right. So moving on to the next slide, which is the media and COVID-19. With these technological transformations, the media, radio, TV, internet, mobiles, and so on, in the face of COVID-19, can be more powerful to map out its impacts on the masses. The consumption, the distribution, and the production of news have altered fundamentally, and this of course could bring positive impacts on the public in fighting off the COVID-19. And the media is also seen able to harness the flexibility and pervasiveness of media technologies in order to increase the public's adherence to the safety measures, especially those suggested by World Health Organizations in order to fight off the COVID-19. And media, from my observation, is also quick to respond and address the communication action as outlined by World Health Organization. And media industries and channels of mass communication can also be utilized to promote adaptive responses in order to foster positive health attitudes. And bear in mind, at the same time, the media becomes a ground to contest misinformation about COVID-19. As I said earlier, COVID-19 comes with infodemic, whereby many false or fake news are on the line that we have to correct this misinformation. Okay, so this is where media verification is very important. Without playing its role as a surveillance, the media also needs to verify information from time to time. It is no doubt that the media is regarded as a platform to verify information, and it is the job of the media to provide with current and verified information. And that is why we are actually being told in the media to always follow updates from official platform instead of information being disseminated on social media, which would not have gatekeepers, right? They do not have gatekeepers, especially on social media. People will, when someone receives an information, he or she will just share the information without knowing what is the source of the information. And that is where and this contemporary challenges is actually, this contemporary media environment is actually new challenges to maintaining the journalistic quality. And of course, with the ever-changing and sometimes unverified nature of COVID-19, data being released has left journalists, media professionals, experts, and researchers with challenges to provide accurate information to the public. And in this regard, I believe that media professionals have to be more critical in order to differentiate between the right and the false information, and also to make sure that effective health communication can be realized for sustainable preventive measures and for curtailing misinformation. And of course, the question to ask is how to do that, right? How to do that? And the media, of course, media professionals have to continuously strengthen their networks with experts, researchers, official informants, such as following communication action by WHO and so on. And it is important that we have to remember COVID-19 is not the only pandemic. It is the most publicized issue. Everyone wants to get their opinion. Everyone wants to share their opinion, wants their opinion to be heard. So reliance on mainstream media reliance on digital platforms is very important and needed in order to combat misinformation from all sides, right? From all platforms, in all platforms. Okay. All right. It is important to note that media verification is further important when Malaysia has become the international limelight. Malaysia is one of the first countries to come up with various quick responses to protect its citizens from COVID-19. And these measures, of course, have invited compliments and criticisms at the same time. And from this situation, we can say that not only our media is the watchdog to the society, but also being watched over by international media. And because of that, media professionals in Malaysia have been seen to have been able to maintain a close contact with key informants to get verified information from time to time in order to maintain Malaysia's positive move and positive image on especially on international media and the locals on the local people. Okay, on the part of the academician, I would like to add a bit. We can see that academicians, scientists try to improve the way scientific research is being publicized and communicated. So we can see that they started to share their results on social media, and some of them are being shared on the website or on newspapers, online newspapers. Okay. All right. So this is actually the example of surveillance campaigns on disease control, and I would say a sample on how to control a disease, how to control COVID-19. Warning have been communicated by the media as an immediate or long-term strategy. And not only that, we can see that instrumental surveillance have also been observed in order by communicating information that is useful and helpful in our everyday life. And I can see from this example or from the current situation, the news producers in Malaysia and the media professionals have tried to make their contents available on search engines, on social media, besides on the main platforms. And news producers were observed to create contents that is more emotive and shareable, right? So as you can see here, these are the screen captured video from RTM and TV9, right? So the media tried to address as many dimensions as possible, the layout, the message, and so on. Right, so as for this one, of course, the purpose of this one is to educate our children, right? So there are plentiful of information on the net that made it possible for parents to actually show to their children. And this is a good effort from the media to help parents to explain to their children the many reasons why they need to stay at home. So if you can see from the example, there are two children talking to one another, explaining why they cannot go out. All right, so, okay, this one, sorry. Right, this one, of course, some people might see that this role is minor, but it actually gives a huge impact to those who need them, especially parents with children who wanted to go out, like every day asking, when can we go out? When can we go out? So these are the kinds of information that could be easily understood by the young ones, right? And I will say that it is an effective strategy to help individuals to deal with this social and physical distancing, right? And I can see that the media has been very creative to utilize all the technologies in order to come up with interesting media content, such as Raya advertisement that was usually we portray human being, right? To celebrate Hari Raya in their advertisement, but now they use animation because we know that physical contact is not possible, so they use the animation to convey the message of how Hari Raya should be celebrated this year. Okay, moving on to the next slide, I would like to share with you a little bit on how starting April 6, the RTM started to air educational programs on a special channel called OK TV, especially during the MCO and CMCO. So the educational TV program slot aims actually to provide students with access to learning materials through alternative platforms besides the online learning class during this MCO and extended MCO. And I think it is a good initiative from the government, from RTM, because we know that schools are closed, education can still continue on a platform that is more visually more engaging as compared to other platforms, right? Okay, so the next slide, this is just a summary of my initial observation, okay, of what of the media in Malaysia right now. Like we know that being stuck at home with nothing better to do has led for most of us to have more time in front of the television, especially including myself, right? So let's look a little bit about the data on the media increase in popularity. Okay, let's look at Media Prima. For example, media and entertainment company saw a significant significant increase in video consumption, especially on its digital platforms, since the implementation of the movement control order. Media Prima Digital also said that MCO has contributed to an increase in Malaysia's consumption of Media Prima content on YouTube by 35%, and news video content consumption also rose by 80%. And given this restricted movement order a few months ago, people have turned to digital media platforms, not only as a source of news updates, but also as a means to connect with friends and family. And during these times also, public's main concern is regarding COVID-19 updates. Okay, let's look at this data. For example, Media Prima's news units have been faithfully serving Malaysians' needs and rights to be informed. For example, Bulletin Utama TV3 received high viewership of its news video during MCO. Berita Harian and Harian Metro were the top 2 searches on Google Trends. Meanwhile, NSTP sites have maintained the highest combined traffic during this period as well. And all digital platforms, especially Media Prima's YouTube channels, have also been hosting live video streams, like what we can observe. Every day we got media conferences, right, by our Health Director General and Senior Minister. So it is not only aired on television, but also through YouTube channels. Okay, not just that, the viewership on non-news content on Media Prima's YouTube channels has also been increasing, right? Okay, the next one, let's look at Astro, a close competitor of Media Prima. It is reported by Astro Media Solution that Astro TV viewership also has increased by 43% because people time spent viewing rose by 30% since MCO, and TV viewership for English movies and entertainment also jumped by over 200%, and it's a positive growth for the mainstream media, I would say. And all news channels have also registered at 71% rise in viewership, and so evidently that Malaysians are diligently following updates of the COVID-19 situation. And news users have also signed up on Astro, such as Enjoy and Astro Go, right? And okay, kids channel on Astro also have garnered a daily average of 4.2 million viewers during the first 5 days of the MCO. And from this data, we can see that how vital the media is to the public, not only as a source of information, but also as a source of entertainment, and also a source of introducing you with a new culture, new norms, right? Okay. All right. So I have come to the conclusion. I would just give a very short conclusion. So, of course, I believe that we have learned a lot about pandemic. Not only that we learn about COVID-19, how contagious the virus is, we also learn about our society. We learn that there are many people that needs help during this period. We learn about our economy, we learn about the policy that are in place during MCO, CMCO. We also learn the self-control, since many restrictions have been in place, and most importantly, we are now learning how to get used with the new norms. And of course, it is still too early to suggest that the media surveillance functions has contributed to the current pace of MCO, which is today is the starting of recovery phase of MCO. But without, I would say that without this function, without this surveillance function, we might not even aware of COVID-19. We might not be able to be in this recovery phase today. And of course, thanks to the media professionals who are also our frontliners, right? And it is important to emphasize that information on disease control and prevention must be strategically designed, and it should not be left at the mercy of citizen journalists or user generated content, because the result will be difficult to control, like panic in the society, how many fake news being circulated within social media have created panic in the society. So these are the things that we have to think. These are the things that the mainstream media have to think about when they are disseminating information to control diseases and to prevent diseases from spreading. Okay, I think that is all from me on the roles of the media during a global pandemic and how to actually combat misinformation in the midst of COVID-19, which is known as infodemic. So I would, before I pass the session to Natasha, my advice to you is stay home and stay safe. But now we are in a recovery period, recovery pace. Everyone is so excited to go home. So stay safe wherever you are. And Assalamualaikum. Thank you. And Natasha, over to you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Wan, for sharing such a very, how to say, fully informative content. It was very, very, how to say, useful and knowledgeable. I hope everyone who is watching get to, how to say gain the knowledge, because that is a new norm thing that everyone should be exposed to, especially on social media platform, and how media actually is a platform as a medium to reach to everyone around the world in a whole. All right, so can everyone hear me? Literally, I hope so, because if you can hear Dr. Wan, you can hear me, right? Okay, so now let's start with I'm going to touch on how a public figure can affect the general public perceptions of the coronavirus disease and help convince them into accepting and adapting to the new normal. All right, so as you can understand, our current crisis now, which is on this COVID-19 disease, is not a thing that we can joke on, because there is no any valid vaccine yet for us to, how to say, to face the world, to survive in this virus. So I hope that everyone would, like, how to say, stay safe and always take extra precaution on this matter. So how a public figure, I could say that I'm one of a public figure, but not like a big one yet, but we would go on to the international one. All right, so let's go to the next slide. Here, I took a cutout from the New York Times, where you can see it questions like, what role should celebrities have during the coronavirus crisis? Okay, public figure is literally in general, but here it mentions celebrities. So of course, you know, celebrities is like actor, actresses, singer, and etc., right? Okay, so you mentioned that America is in crisis, but the celebrities are thriving. They are beaming into our homes, reminding us to stay indoors and stay positive, and we're all in this together, right? As COVID-19 cases rapidly spread across the US, we've experienced that rapid social disruption, like schools, library, and businesses, they are closed. So like band tours and sports leagues are on hiatus. Experts recommend that we should also wash our hands frequently and most drastically minimize contact with others through social distancing. All right. So as you all know, knowing that people who aren't following guidelines to stay home, it's tempting to try to beat them down with facts. Okay. This is because where the public figures should come in as a role, how to say, to start to play the role by getting people to follow through on, like, for example, do hand washing, social distancing, and how to wear mask properly so that it's fully covered at the right coverage on your face. Okay, but then this isn't necessarily a matter of logic, because it's a matter of your heart. Because we humans are highly sensitive to social norms, and it's confusing when they suddenly change, right? Sometimes you get to see, like, especially our government here in Malaysia, like sometimes you get confused with their instruction because different states have their own different law and different ways of, like, before you entering their state. Like, for example, Sarawak is being very, very strict in a way that before they don't really follow the government federal in a way, like, you can still travel around, but to travel into Sarawak, it's very strict that you need to be quarantined for 2 weeks, which is equivalent to 14 days, and then go through swab tests, and then wait for the result, and then you can only go home. So that is like the safety measure that Sarawak do to, like, really protect their citizen or the people there. Okay, so it's kind of confusing when they suddenly change, right? But it's hard to accept that this sudden recommended changes to our routines and the open-endedness is quite horrifying, or even it could be worse. So the prospect that this could be the new normal, at least until a vaccine is fully developed to protect us all, right? So we'd be wise to leverage that what we know about the irrational ways in which humans think and act, and what we might do to mitigate those challenges. Okay, carry on to the next slide. Here is a solid research by this, what's her name again? Elizabeth Cohen, okay, from US. So from this Western Virginia University, she's an associate professor in the Department of Communication Studies. So she has analyzed that emotional responses to media and the attachments people have to celebrities and fictional characters. So it says that on the headline, celebrities, athletes, and public figures with COVID-19 influence public perception of the virus. Okay, maybe for you guys, it might sound quite complicated. It means that, as you can see, like, there are celebrities, athletes, and other public figures that are positive with the virus of COVID-19 disease. So from here, I'm pretty sure that everyone, like some people would have the thoughts of, like, oh, how if this celebrity got it? Sometimes you feel sad for them, but then surprisingly, you get to know that they don't have the symptom of the virus, but then they are positive. Okay, so of course, maybe the chances of them to be healed or cure from or recover from that virus is quite high. And also, this is where they take safety measure in, like, taking care of their hygienes, taking care of their social distancing. They're not going out. They quarantine themselves strictly at home and do some healthy activity inside the house. All right. So she mentioned here also that celebrities have an effect on people's social norms. And Tom Hanks, I'm pretty sure everyone know who Tom Hanks is. He's a famous actor, all right? As an example, who has successfully raised the level of public awareness after he had tested positive of COVID-19. Okay, here I would like to emphasize that Tom Hanks, he is positive, but then it's like a huge awareness that the whole world is literally watching him on his social media, especially as you all know, the famous social media platform is called Instagram. So I think everyone did follow him on Instagram as well. So that's where he created awareness, like, he is positive, and then he literally take care of himself to make sure that he recovered and he could fight this virus till the end, that he could get a negative result. Okay, so that is like one of a good example that a very, how to say, very what is that, very famous celebrity or actor who could, like, influence everyone when they watch him on his social media. Okay, and it, like, can make you do a good change. Okay, moving on to our next slide. Here, of course, everyone watch Wonder Woman. This is the actress, which Her name is Gal Gadot. Don't tell me you guys don't follow her. Okay, look at the numbers down there. The numbers of her views. It's like crazy. It's like massive. Like it could hit almost to 10 million. You see? So now it's like 9,885 thousand and 54. So this is only views. And I'm pretty sure she have a lot of likes as well. And here she gave out like a talk to like to make people feel motivated and not feel like left out or not feel like they are alone. It's very touching for from what she's mentioned in her speech. It's still there on her Instagram. You guys would like to see it, please go to her Instagram and watch it. And here also, after she gave her talk, she sang John Lennon's song, which is called Imagine. So it's very, very, how to say, deep kind of lyric. And also, this is like, she don't sing it along, she sang it with her celebrity friends on social media. So like everyone like record and gather everything and just pile it up and make it into a nice flow of song that everyone sings together. So here, as you can see, I think this one is like a trend as well already. Like everyone, not only the one in America who is doing it, so literally everyone around the world is doing this kind of trend, like creating songs. Record on their own, and after that, get one person to just edit everything up and post it up, and everyone is like doing that. It's like a good thing to create a bond between your friends and family as well. I find that during this pandemic, it's a blessing in disguise that everyone, how to say, get together and also, how to say, make that relationship stronger, to understand each other better and to get to see the real flow of a person. I mean, despite of negative side, also we don't look at that side, we go to the positive side. So of course, everything happens for a good reason. And also, I believe that everyone also get to know how to say, commute with media, to be better and to go flow with it smoothly, because I'm pretty sure not everyone like so into media before this. I mean, like, want to get the hassle of downloading different kind of apps and do the editing and stuff, because me myself, I know I have problem with that, but then I have to, because that is my field of work. So I believe that by doing so, to have media in your life, to get engaged with it, is a very useful tool, a useful medium that we can use to like reach to each other, near or far, you know. Yeah, so I think that is a good thing. And well, we still look the same if we like on camera, right? Okay, all right, so enough of that. Let's go to the next slide. Next one. Okay, we're done with the international one, so now we go to our local industry, entertainment industry. So I'm pretty sure everyone knows who is Vivi Yusof. Okay, but before that, for like, okay, like here in Malaysia, for example, when the MCO came into force in March, all right, pause for influential people, including leaders and celebrities, they at least help to promote awareness of the coronavirus situation, like what Vivi Yusof did. She is a Malaysian entrepreneur and the co-founder of Fashion Valet and the Duck Group. Okay, and also Vivi herself is has been a blogger for 10 years, who has been sharing insights about her life and entrepreneurial journey through her personal blog, which is www.productduck.com. Okay, I'm not promoting, but I think I'm so used to doing this. Anyway, Vivi, I'm sure everyone did heard of like the negative side of what she did. I don't know. Okay, sometime out of anger, you can like simply blurt things out. But then let's despite of what that she did on the negative side, let's look on the positive side. She literally raised an amount of 1.2 million ringgit with her team. She did not pledge her own money, you know, like come out from her own pocket or her own money to contribute for this financial, to provide to the medical frontliners. She created an announcement and gather people to donate. Whoever like have extra can donate, and literally all of us around the world who put donation and help our medical frontliners. And it's within 1 week. Do you see the impact of a public figure on social media when it comes to this kind of situation? That's where public figures are very important to be used as a tool, also can be used as a medium or as an object, or I mean to reach the people, because it's through virtually, because I find that you can see how sincere and how things are going on, and I believe that that's how we as humans should really do to like contribute to our society, to our community. Okay, and yeah, that's what VV Yusof did. Next would be, let's see, okay, these three celebrity. I'm pretty sure everyone knows who are they and what they do. uh I mean, uh, and who they are, right? So the first one would be Era Fazira. Okay, from here you can see that she's an actress, and then Datuk Sri Siti Nurhaliza, who's a famous singer. Okay, and also an entrepreneur now, before as well. And next is Mira Filza, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So as you can see, from these three person, they are very, very influential. And a grand applause should be given to these three Malaysian female celebrities, because for using social media technology to curb the spread of the COVID-19 outbreak. So I believe that besides Datuk Siti Nurhaliza herself, Era Fazira and Mira Filza, many other celebrities are also taking similar initiatives. Like for example, for myself as well, and other local celebrities. So it literally depending on their popularity and influence, the sharing of these celebrities will surely invite fans to do good. Okay, because with the amount of followers, with the amount of people viewing, audience and stuff, it's very important, because the more they have, they are reaching to more people. All right, so that is a good advantage of having this kind of celebrity to help during our crisis right now. So on social media of Datuk Sri Siti, uh, as you all can see, if you do follow her, uh, this 40-year-old singer has been creatively urging people to obey the government by uploading 7 illustrations of advice during the MCO. Did you guys saw it? This illustration was actually originally a new poster of 7 advice, where Dato Sri Siti herself with Kimi Kemo and Lucas Tika, but these people, they wanted to create a song or a poster, I think, and they literally, how to say, converted, treated it as a service message to the community, right? In fact, it is not just that she attempted to share awareness with fans through her social media. She also informed the official portal that the people should go to for a more legitimate news, okay, as well as share the order details of the MCO, because like what Dr. Wan mentioned earlier, there are lots of fake news, false news on media nowadays. People are using it, abusing uh, the use of media nowadays. So I don't agree with that kind of people. It's so piracy. Okay, so like, yeah, I find that by doing so, it's like a crime. Okay, so it's not nice to do so, because pity to the people who like, who literally being so uh how to say, being so naive, and they just like listen to it and just follow it, especially the older ones, the older generation, who's like just started to learn how to use all these kind of technologies. So it's not nice to encourage how to say, to practice this kind of social media abusing, like by simply uh, posting up fake news and whatnot. Okay, so back to our slides. So I mentioned about Datuk Sri Siti. Next is we go to Era Fazira. Similar approach was taken by this actress. So through her social media, she has been promoting spiritual and religious quotes. This is also a way to motivate people in her circle, in her religion, and also another way she's like making people feel motivated and be feel like they are, how to say, they have to be strong, okay, spiritually. So that's what she did, and it's a good thing that she do so, right? So next is Mira Filzah. She did the social responsibility of the community through the video of the COVID-19, uh, where she, how to say, did the prevention measures taken with Ariani, a brand, okay, where she is an ambassador of the brand. She was also called on to demonstrate the proper use of masks and other preventive measures, especially when meeting people. So through her own social media, she has been posting social distancing information as well. So like I said earlier, ways of wearing masks is very, very important. I saw this like one video, like a doctor, he explained on how to wear mask, especially face like mine, like small face. So the mask is like literally quite big, so it's like literally not tight and attached to my face nicely. So there's a way of how you would wear this kind of mask to make it tight and to avoid any airflow of the virus that can just literally get into your airflow, right? So this is very important, not only by social distancing, hand washing and whatnot. I find that wearing your mask properly and how you sanitize your hands are very important. And every time you get out from the house, make sure like you prepare for a war and also you come back in, make sure you are clean and just get yourself showered, and then you can get everything done, especially when you stay with a big family, many people in the house. So that's where you have to be very, very responsible towards yourself, and also it's a safety measure that you don't want it to spread to your family members as well, right? Okay, moving on to the next slide. Okay, Malaysian designers make protective gear for frontliners. This is also a newspaper cutting that I found online. Here you can see there are three famous Malaysian designer, which is Datuk Razwan Raziwil, Datuk Rizalman Ibrahim, and also Datuk Jovian Mandagi. I'm sure everyone know who are they. They are famous with their clothing line and how they create clothes and whatnot. Okay, so here it says that there has been an overwhelming amount of support from designers after doctors and nurses turned to plastic bags and cling wrap due to a shortage of personal protection equipment, which is called PPE. All right, so there's that one time that the whole hospital is like having a lack and shortage of PPE. So it's quite sad to know that. So I'm quite impressed and surprised that all of these designers take the initiative to like to do how to say donation and get things done on their own and sew it. And I'm pretty sure that by sewing this PPE is not that easy. You really have to have the same measure, which everyone can wear. And also, they don't do it on their own. They bought the material and then they spread it to everyone around, to the community outside there who can sew, like housewife or single mom who can sew, have sewing machine to help them to sew it for free, and to like literally do how to say, contribute the effort, the energy and time to provide to our frontliners, which is, this is a very good thing to do. So in conclusion of it all, it is how to say, I hope that the approach taken by such celebrities here in Malaysia will help prevent COVID-19 outbreaks. Thus, actually there is a reduction in numbers of cases of infection when these public figures did their role in conveying messages to the public. So I would say that regardless of leaders or celebrities or public figures, I believe that all citizens should unite in a pandemic situation like this and have a sense of responsibility by obeying the government's implementation. So let us kita jaga kita and make sure everyone like stay safe and be at home. And always support each other. So because we don't have to be like I have to be a sister or anything, but it's because we are Malaysian, we should be united, and I believe that is how we do so, by virtually united via media. So yeah, thank you, and that's all. And I hope you guys don't throw any very serious question because I'm kind of nervous. So thank you for listening and sparing your time with us. So I would like to pass on to our moderator, Miss Afni. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Natasha and Dr. Wan, for the wonderful session. Okay. I believe all of us has actually benefited from this webinar session. However, I am so sorry, due to the limited time, we cannot actually have a very lengthy, or we cannot have the Q&A session. However, you may drop us the questions to the speakers, okay, personally, okay, soon. All right. So for now, we are actually um, gonna have, to all the participants, we have an upcoming webinar entitled How Not to Get Conned by Fake News that will be happening on the 12th of June. And our speaker will actually cover on how everyone has a responsibility to combat the scourge of fake news. So if you are interested, please scan or go to this link now to register. There will be also a link in the description box below. All right. And if you do not want to miss any of our upcoming sessions, you can actually also subscribe with us by joining our Telegram group. Please scan or go to the link now to join the group. You can also find the link in the description. As promised, before we end today's session, the certificate will be issued to the participants. Please go to this link and fill in your details. The certificate shall be sent to you via email within 30 days from now. To my colleagues in SEGI, you can also go into the same link for your certificate. Please be reminded that this link will be expiring in 30 minutes. So please hurry. All right, we have come to an end of today's session. On behalf of SEGI Group of Colleges, I thank all of you for joining our SEGI Evening School webinar today. Stay connected and see you next time. Stay safe. Thank you.